I thought I'd make a quick video about what I consider the greatest speech ever made by an English or British monarch. It's Elizabeth I in 1588, when we're in danger of being invaded by an allied Spanish army. Now, admittedly, the Armada by this point has been smashed at the Battle of Grania, and it's kind of circling around Scotland on its way, heading for home. And so I think by this point, she expects that we've won this clash. But she still has a load of troops assembled at Tilbury in Essex, just in case the Duke of Parma, with his army, somehow manages to cross the Channel. He's waiting at Dunkirk. She deliberately leaves all her bodyguard behind her and goes out in amongst the troops, not totally by herself, but pretty much. She's dressed in white. She's got a silver cuirass on. Has a bit of regalia being carried by different knights around her. But I think she only has about 6 companions here, different ones. And she gives this speech, and she asks specifically for one of her knights to go to every unit of men there and repeat the speech. So we know these are the words that she said. And we must remember this is a time of literary genius, probably unparalleled in our history. So we've got the poetry around about now, a couple of years later, 1 year later, Edmund Spenser, the Fairy Queen. We're getting Shakespeare not long after. All the rest, we don't need to list it now. But it's a time of literary brilliance in England. And this is a speech, and, even today it arouses the passion. So you can imagine what it did for the men back in that day. I'm not going to affect the voice of Elizabeth I because it's not a laughing matter, really. Britain was in grave danger, or England. My loving people, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety to take heed how we commit ourselves to armed multitudes for fear of treachery. But I assure you, I do not desire to live to distrust my faithful and loving people. Let tyrants fear. I have always so behaved myself that, under God, I have placed my chiefest strength and safeguard in the loyal hearts and good will of my subjects, and therefore I am come amongst you, as you see at this time, not for my recreation and disport, but being resolved in the midst and heat of the battle to live and die amongst you all, to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and my people my honour and my blood even in the dust. I know I have the body but of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and a king of England too. And think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe should dare to invade the borders of my realm. To which, rather than any dishonour shall grow by me, I myself will take up arms. I myself will be your general, judge, and rewarder of every one of your virtues in the field. I know already for your forwardness you have deserved rewards and crowns, and we do assure you, in the word of a prince, they shall be duly paid you. In the meantime, my lieutenant general shall be in my stead, than whom never prince commanded more noble or worthy subject. Not doubting, by your obedience to my general, by your concord in the camp, and your valour in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory over those enemies of my God, of my kingdom, and of my people. Well, gotta say it, that's a powerful speech. She talks about treachery, and she says, no, I've been a great queen for you. I don't trust, I don't doubt your loyalty. There are no traitors here, so I've come amongst you basically unarmed, left my bodyguard at home. I trust you all. You're my loyal people, my loving subjects. And if any foreign git is trying to take my land, well, they'll have to fight me as well as you lot. I'd rather die than let any foreigner depose me, and also my religion, being a Protestant. So it's a very powerful speech. And also she talks of rewards and crowns. So she's saying, not only am I here with my Lieutenant General, we're all going to fight if necessary, and I'll fight to the death myself if it comes to it. We're not going to surrender. I owe it to my people, to my country, to my God to fight. But she also says, you deserve to be well rewarded, and you will be. So there's a carrot as well, not really a stick here. And then the positivity, will shortly have a famous victory. And indeed it was. I mean, if you look back in history, 1588, probably we already had the best navy in the world at that time, albeit not the largest. But you could say from this point, Britain becomes a dominant world power for several hundred years. So it's a remarkable moment, and it's a wonderful speech, and it's certainly my favourite.